Do you want to start thinking in English faster instead of translating everything in your head? In this video, you are going to shadow a real story written the way native English speakers actually talk. This helps you connect English directly to meaning, so you can stop translating so much and start understanding naturally. Shadowing also improves your pronunciation, speaking rhythm, accent, confidence, and speaking because you are copying real English in real time. And through the story, you will also learn new vocabulary, natural expressions, and sentence patterns that native English speakers actually use. So read with me, shadow out loud, and train your brain to think in English. And if you want to get my 3,000 most common English words designed to help you understand up to 95% of spoken English, then you can get it in the description. Let's begin. The first story. Am I the a-hole for selling my boyfriend's Xbox/games to pay his rent? Right off the bat, yes and no. If he's not paying rent, then he has to pay it somehow. So by selling those things, he can pay it. So it makes sense. But on the other hand, you can't just take someone else's stuff and sell it. That's kind of like theft. Last week, I sold my boyfriend's Xbox and 6 of his games for £400. I did this because for the last 2 months, he has been depending on me financially, despite the fact that I, 20 female, am a student who can hardly provide for herself. I work a part-time job while studying because my student loans don't cover the cost of living. Meanwhile, my boyfriend, 22 male, has been out of a job for 2 months and lives in a flat by himself. In those 2 months, he has put almost no effort into finding a new job. Instead, he was spending all his time playing on his Xbox, literally depending on me for money. If you want to learn faster and go deeper than the video, then get the workbook on my website, volkaenglish.com. The workbook explains everything in greater detail and comes with exercises to help you learn new vocabulary, grammar, tenses, sentence patterns, comprehension, and real English you can actually use. I also have workbooks for past videos, so you can keep practicing and improving every lesson. Click the link in my description to get the workbooks. Last week, I just kind of lost it. I was fed up with him putting no effort into getting money, and I didn't want to pay for another month's rent. So I instead sold his Xbox and games without his consent in order to pay his rent. By the sounds of it, she does recognize what she did was wrong because it was without his consent, and she is being very honest about that. So maybe this story is just to vent her frustration. I do feel guilty, okay, but I'm hoping at least someone understands my reasoning. Am I the a-hole? We have some edits. Edit 1. Why didn't I communicate like an adult? I tried talking things through with him like an adult on numerous occasions. I tried explaining that I can't afford to keep paying for his food, bills, rent, and everything else he needs to get by. He has borderline nothing in his bank account. Every single time I talked to him about his job search or tried talking to him, he would shrug it off. He never put any effort into conversations. It was always a case of, yeah, I'll start looking tomorrow. Or yeah, I know, yeah. He never started looking for a job as far as I know. I felt like him being on his Xbox was the sole reason, wasting all his time on that instead of productively searching for jobs. I did use the money for rent because it was due and he would have had nothing to pay for it, but also because I thought it would be good to have that distraction out of his life. I would like to add something. I feel like you definitely enabled this behavior by paying for his things. I would not have paid for it, maybe for 1 month, but if I can clearly see they're not putting any effort into finding a job and they're just start to depend on me and mooch, then like if I was in her situation, then I would just stop. I'd be like, you need to find a job now. I helped you for a month and you literally haven't done anything, that's the end of my help. I'm not going to continue helping you, especially if I don't have money because I'm a student and I have to work just to support myself. And now you want me to support you too when you're not doing anything. So you kind of did enable this behavior because he felt like he doesn't have to do anything because you will pay for it. Edit 2. Why didn't you just let him get evicted? Facts. I didn't want him to become homeless. He isn't that close to his parents and so cannot rely on moving into their home. I think losing an Xbox is way better than becoming homeless. I guess. Edit 3. I know what I did was illegal and theft. So the last point from edit 2. My boyfriend was furious when he found out I sold his Xbox, but he never brought up charges. He never said he would sue or report it to the police. He knows that he depends on me financially. Edit 4. Yes, I understand this is theft. No need to keep repeating it in every single comment. That being said, I think I will break up with him soon. I say this because so many of these comments have been saying dump him. I feel like that was pretty obvious to anyone reading this. He is depending on you and he's not helping you in any way. The best thing to do would just be to separate yourself and cut him off. Edit 5. My last edit sounded way worse than I intended. I said I think I will. I didn't say when. I don't mean right now, this very second, and leave him with nothing. I read pretty much every single comment on this post, and a lot of things mentioned made me realize I can't keep on living with someone literally leeching off me. Very true. I'll end up just as broke as him if I continue at this rate. I have already spent near 2K on him in the last few months, digging through the little I have saved since I started working part-time at age 14. Yeah, this relationship really does not sound good for you. I think he will just use you and take everything he can until you can't offer anything else, and then he'll leave you and look for someone else to mooch off of. So am I the a-hole? Yep, I am. Taking someone's things and selling it is an a-hole move. Your boyfriend's also an a-hole, taking over $2,000 from you in the past few months. So I guess you guys are both a-holes. You need to leave him by the sounds of it. I think that would be better for you specifically. Remember guys, I want you to take your phone and give me a summary of the story you just read. It only has to be 1 or 2 sentences. And this is just to have a video of your pronunciation and accent. So in a couple months, you can look back on this video and see how much you have improved. Try to do this for every story. Am I the a-hole for throwing away my husband's Xbox after he refused to look for our lost dog? Okay, so this one, she didn't sell it. He threw it away. Interesting. This is going to be a little long. Please try to bear with me and understand my situation. Thank you. For starters, I'm a nurse, 35 female. I have been extremely busy these past 3 months. Even writing this post is a privilege, and I am having to do this in bits and pieces. I also gave birth to my daughter 6 months ago. I have an 8-year-old son as well. When I am not working, I take care of my children. If you want to build a strong English foundation fast, then get my 3,000 most common English words PDF. You'll learn the most important words that cover up to 95% of everyday English with clear definitions, real examples, and easy organization by topic and CEFR level. Click the link in the description. In January 2019, my son suddenly developed this strong desire to have a dog. He begged and begged for a puppy from my husband, 35 male. I protested against that because I had just found out that I was pregnant. My husband said that we should let our son have a puppy to teach him some responsibility and that he would have some practice taking care of his baby sibling. He also promised that he would help our son take care of the dog. I was absolutely unconvinced, but I had to give in eventually because my husband had already agreed and I didn't want to cause further fights. This is interesting because in my experience, because usually it's the mom that says, oh, just let them have a puppy, it's okay. And it's usually the dad that says, no, I don't want a dog or a puppy at all. But in this situation, it's reversed. 5 days ago, my son had accidentally left the back door of our house open and the dog ran away. These 5 days were also some of the busiest, most grueling days of my work, and I had to take up night shifts because a colleague had fallen sick. Our son first went to my husband for help. He refused to help him and said that it was my son's responsibility to care for the dog and he has to do something about it himself. My husband has the privilege of working from home. He works at a law firm. He works for maybe 3 to 4 hours a day and plays Xbox the entire time and sometimes gets up to check up on our daughter. He literally has no added pressures. 5 days ago, when our son told me in tears that dad won't look for Tippy, I talked to my husband, who said that it would teach our son some responsibility to take care of things in the future, which I found very callous since a dog is a living, sentient being and not a thing. That is very true. A dog is alive. You can't just lose it and then be like, oh, well, I'll get another one. No, it's alive. He was playing Xbox when I was talking to him as well. He also said he won't look for the dog or anything. Yesterday, after coming home at night, the first thing I did was unplug the Xbox console and controller and throw them in the trash can. This morning, before going to work, my husband threw a fit when he didn't find his Xbox in the living room. I told him that I'd thrown it away because he was so addicted to it that he couldn't even get up and help our distressed son. When I came back from work, he told me he had found his Xbox in the trash since the garbage truck hadn't arrived yet. Now he's being incredibly snarky, giving me the cold shoulder, and he's angry because his controller isn't working. He also hasn't taken any measures to look for our dog, and our mutual best friend called and said my reaction was incredibly childish. Now I'm spending my free day calling every neighbor of ours, making internet posters, contacting animal shelters and animal control to see if Tippy had turned up anywhere, and consoling my heartbroken son. Am I the a-hole? Edit. My husband is a lawyer. A lawyer's job depends on how many clients he has. My husband currently has almost no clients due to obvious reasons. He told me this himself, so his workload is significantly less. This is for all those people who are saying that I am downplaying his work. Update. Tippy still hasn't been found yet. My shift has ended about 30 minutes ago, and I'll go home and drive around in my neighborhood and surrounding area to look for him. I have posted some pictures of Tippy on my profile for those who requested. Husband is still sulking about his controller. I am at my wit's end. Update. Tippy has been found. If you're serious about becoming fluent in English, I've built a full speaking and pronunciation course that shows you exactly what to do step by step. You get instant access to 80+ video lessons right away, and I add 3 to 5 brand new lessons every week so you can keep improving consistently. And this is not just a course full of random videos. You'll get an exclusive ChatGPT prompt that allows you to master the pronunciation of any word, plus a clear practice structure so you always know exactly how to study, what to focus on, and how to make real progress. Inside, we work on pronunciation, accent, rhythm, and natural speaking, so you can stop hesitating, sound more natural, and speak English with real confidence. Join today in the description. Well, at least we ended on a high note with some good news. Okay, so overall, I would say your husband is pretty lazy and he's definitely addicted to the Xbox. He's probably lazy because he's addicted to the Xbox. So trying to get rid of that, I mean, makes sense in theory, but in practice, it won't work because he's addicted to it, right? Overall, should you have thrown his Xbox away? No. You probably should have just tried to communicate more and talk to him. And if he still doesn't understand it then, I don't think this is like marriage ending worthy, but definitely talking to maybe like a therapist or bringing a third party in so that you guys can talk about it. He understands your point of view and so that you understand his point of view. I think that would help a lot. Sounds like someone who's really addicted to playing video games. I remember at one point in my life when I was young, like 15, I used to be addicted to games. Yeah, I wouldn't really want to do anything else. So I can understand being addicted to games. It's not good. That's why I don't really play video games anymore. What do you guys think? Remember to give me a summary of the story and record yourself so that you can look back at this video to see how much you have improved. Remember, if you want to get the 3,000 most common English words, it's in the description.